Hello, citizens of the internet. It is I, your local queer xenocyte. Today, I'm going to be talking about really gross shit. So, immediate trigger warning. I'm going to be discussing topics within the realms of sexualization of minors. So, if you're not vibing with that, if that's not a topic you are comfortable with hearing about, that you're totally valid. Just click off, go open up a nicer video. Basically just practice self-care and take care of yourself and your brain. But for those who do decide to stay, hi, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about some shit, some bad shit. So strap yourselves in, get ready, because this is a doozy. Alright, so 2020 has really been one fucking year, hasn't it? We've got a global pandemic, we've got bushfires everywhere, politics is at an all-time scare. Honestly, it just kind of feels like every apocalyptic setting just sort of mushed into one ultimate shitstorm fuckery of a nightmare that we currently live in, with the exception of like zombies. But, I mean, we still have 3 or 4 months left of the year. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if zombies start rising from the dead. But I'm kind of a person who tries to look at the bright side of things, try to find a silver lining, sort of a optimist, so to say. And I think despite all the fuckery that 2020's delivered us, I would be lying if I said that there were some good parts in 2020 that I feel like we should be very happy for. The main one being that 2020 has really proven itself to be the year that we say, fuck you, get out of here with sexualizing minors and catching and exposing alleged predators such as Onision, Darby Vanity, Romeo Lacrosse, Shane Dawson, the guy that reviewed Cuties, more recently Jeffree Star. Please don't sue me, this is just alleged, I'm just talking speculations. Don't sue me, I have no money, I am on welfare, please, thank you. But there are 2 people not on that list that I really think should be on that list, and those 2 people being Benny and Rafi Fine, also known as the FineBros. Once again, I want to make an actual proper disclaimer here. I'm not saying anyone I have mentioned and will continue to mention, most notably the FineBros, I'm not saying they are pedophiles, I am not saying they are predators or anything like that. I am simply saying that they have done very questionable and gross things in the past that makes me kind of uncomfortable with the position that they're currently in, and I think they need to hold themselves accountable or have the internet hold them accountable. That's all I'm saying. It's just speculation, just alleged. It's just alleged. Please don't sue me. Thank you. Back in 2010, Shane Dawson made various cameos in a web series known as Hey It's Millie. I'm Millie! Which is about a puppet that's sort of like a little girl. I think she was about 11 or 13 years old. And she was like a big fan of Shane Dawson and wanted to make, YouTube videos and really make it on a platform, really make something of herself. Except...
So Millie, you a fan of the D?
Are you talking about your big dick? D's. Oh yeah, I'm getting wet. Oh man. Whoa! That reminds me of the thing that my dad used to shove in my mouth when I was 3.
Yeah, she's just sexualized by grown-ass men. And Shane Dawson, rightfully so, got heavily criticized and scrutinized on the internet after this video surfaced on the Twitter sphere.
Shane, hey, Shane? What? Is it wrong to touch yourself in the nether region?
But here's the kicker. This scene was written by the FineBros, and with little information that I was able to dig up, I think mostly by Rafi Fine. But I think Benny Fine definitely plays his part of, at the very least, being complicit in these actions, so he's just as bad as Rafi Fine. And when the Shane Dawson controversy was coming out a few months ago, and that previous video was, surfacing around, I did see some people holding the FineBros accountable for their part in that series and in the sexualizing children manner. But it was nowhere near on the same level as Shane Dawson. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying that Shane Dawson didn't deserve that. I'm not here defending him. He deserved what he got. I just think the FineBros also deserve what he got. Shane may have taken part in this gross series by acting in it, But the FineBros, particularly Rafi Fine, actively wrote the script for this series. And I mean, I don't know how much Shane was involved in the script writing process, but I mean, the fact that he was still complicit in the sexualizing this puppet child and thought it was funny and decided he still wanted to be part of that project is still really bad. That's still a big no-no. But what we do know is that the FineBros wrote each script. They wrote each script, they wrote each scene, they made each sexualized comment, and they just like did that and then proceeded to upload it on the internet for fun. Like they created this, uploaded it because they thought it would be fun to showcase them sexualizing this puppet that's supposed to be a little girl and letting it be exposed and watched and viewed by minors and let it influence them. And they didn't even get a trending hashtag on Twitter. Where's my hashtag the FineBros are over party? There was no trending hashtag on Twitter. There was very little acknowledgements from the main audience of YouTube. And on the FineBros part, there's no acknowledgement on it. The only acknowledgement that exists on their Twitter is acknowledging their previous usage of blackface and, you know, denouncing it and saying how blackface is wrong and they're sorry that they contributed to the normalization of blackface. Which is like, that's good, I guess, you know, good for you that you've learned that blackface is, you know, wrong and morally apprehensible and you are, you know, responsible for normalizing blackface on, you know, the internet and YouTube and such like that. Like, that's good, I guess. But just because you learned that racism isn't this fun, quirky thing to joke about, doesn't mean your other gross shit in your past will be all forgiven and forgotten. And that is why I'm here. I'm here to deliver all this gross shit that they did in the past and show it to you, my viewer, in hopes that maybe, just maybe, we, the people who showed our wrath to Shane Dawson, can also be like, hey, let's show that wrath to the FineBros and hold them accountable for what they did. Because what they did was gross and had impacts, bad impacts. Especially when, while they were making this...
Oh, and her newly developed breast. They're speaking to me. They're saying, hey, Millie, do you want to suck on us? Ooh. I mean, don't you think she's sexy, Daisy? Hey, what does sexy mean?
Whoa! Jump Pluff!
Daisy, did you just come?
They were also producing this.
Please react to Pop Stars! This episode, Hatsune Miku!
They were working with literal fucking children while making jokes about sexualizing a child. And they even used the same ending card.
I love you for subscribing. Bye!
Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what video I should watch next.
To watch the deleted questions from this episode, hit the box below.
See you next Sunday.
Bye. Bye! I promise you, I'm real! I'm real!
Like, it boggles my mind. Why aren't they being dragged across Twitter? Why hasn't, like, YouTube said or done something? They even did something to Shane Dawson, but they just seem to have gotten away scot-free. And it's like, that's a rhetorical question. I legitimately do understand why they've gotten away with it, because they produce, you know, family-friendly vibes kind of videos, and they're sort of one of YouTube's many cash cows. You know, you don't want to lose them. But, like, still, you know, there's sort of a sense of hypocrisy almost of, you know, we heavily criticized and held Shane accountable when he wouldn't hold himself accountable, but the FineBros seem to be getting away with what they've done. Like, it's been a few months now since the Hey It's Millie clips were showing for Shane Dawson. One of the big clips featuring Rafi and Benny Fine, and I don't know, I guess it just sits with me the wrong way that they have still not been held accountable, especially when they actively work with kids. You know what I mean? They have since deleted all of the videos on the Hey It's Millie series. They got rid of the Facebook page as well. So it's been very hard to try and find information about the Hey It's Millie series. It seems at the very least they acknowledge that it's wrong enough that they should not have it on the internet anymore in case it comes back to bite them in the butt. However, thanks to the Wayback Machine, I have managed to recover some snapshots from their Facebook page and even some videos from their YouTube channel.
Oh, Brenda, look at the beautiful happiness on my face. Because I killed the BRD. The BRD stands for Big Red Dildo. Yeah, is that blood? It is. I don't really understand. I mean, granted, I have been punched in the face a lot and I've bled because of it, but why are you making a picture of my abuse, Ashley? Abuse! Whoa, oh my, whoa, no! Oh no, I'm a fucking deformed piece of shit! I could be in that movie called Freaks! Woo! That's some hot, sexy Millie! Woo! Look at the clean! Looks like an ass!
I did.
Prophecy in hell and my dreams died. I just crossed it over.
Trust it. Oh, no.
Ew, you understood? What did I mean?
Back off!
What did I mean?
Well, from an earlier time that you talked about it once. You were talking about something very not good.
Just say what it is, goddammit!
You're talking about your vagina.
And they were doing this shit, they were writing this shit and filming this shit while working on Kids React. Those things happen at the same time. And yeah, look, I get it. I really do get it. Millie, she's not a little girl. She is a puppet. So, I kind of get when, people could definitely have the argument that, oh, but it was just edgy jokes and they wouldn't actively do it, like say or do these things to actual children, And it's like, I get that. I get that. The problem is that Millie was a puppet that symbolized a little girl. She represented a child. Even though, she's not an actual sentient being, so she's not being harmed. The problem is when you have young audiences, many of whom were perhaps around Millie's age, watching this stuff. That has really serious impacts and can actively harm minors. Many of their dumb sketches where they're, normalizing sexualized behavior towards, a child was consumed by minors. Kids watched this. They watched this, they consumed this, and whether they, consciously knew it or not, but they're influenced by this. You see, kids' brains are highly impressionable, they watch these things and, they're not going to watch it with the red flags in mind of, oh, hang on, why are there a bunch of grown-ass men sexualizing, a little girl? That's weird. Kids don't think that when they watch that, when, me, an adult, watches that stuff. I look at that and I go, wow, that's weird, that's bad. Kids, however, don't look at that and go, oh, that's weird, that's bad. They look at these clips and go, oh, I wish I was being motorboated by Shane Dawson. And when you have young kids or young people in general with their impressionable mind consume videos like this, you end up in situations like this.
Alright, 3, 2... Okay,
And that's the dangerous part. That's the point where I can't sit here and say, oh, they were just puppet. It was just a puppet, they didn't actually harm any children. Because the point is many young kids, hundreds of thousands, some of these videos had like 500,000 views or so. Many young kids watched these videos and would, whether the FineBros like it or not, would watch this and think it's okay for grown-ass men to talk this way towards children, because they don't see why exactly that's bad in the same way how us adults would see why that's bad. Their brains are impressionable. They don't... I'm really trying not to sound condescending towards kids and, oh, they don't know anything. But in a legitimate sense, an 8-year-old or 12-year-old, pre-teens, they can't really exactly comprehend just how bad it is that you have grown-ass men making sketches like this. They don't entirely realize why that's fucked up. Benny and Rafi Fine created a YouTube series depicting a puppet as a sexualized little girl and allowed an audience of children to consume this, watch this, and be influenced by this. And while they were producing that content, they were also working with kids and producing a different kind of content. And once again, I do want to emphasize, I'm not sitting here saying Benny and Rafi Fine did anything illegal. I'm just saying that what they have done in the past with the Hey It's Millie series and the fact that they were at the time and still now working with kids, it just doesn't look good. All I'm saying is that if I was a parent and I had a child, I wouldn't want my child working for them. Not because they did anything illegal, but because these actions they've displayed in the past reflects on them very poorly. And it shows, just as a matter of fact, that at least once upon a time, they thought it was okay to make gross, disgusting, vile jokes depicting a puppet as a little girl who's being sexualized by grown men. They thought that was an okay thing to have on the internet. And even if they were just jokes, the point still stands. They thought that was an okay thing to at least joke about. And I wouldn't want my child near them because they still haven't even held themselves accountable. They won't acknowledge it. They're just sort of ignoring it, which clearly shows that at the very least they do understand it's wrong, but for some strange reason, they want to just ignore it and pretend like it didn't happen. And that's so sketch. If you've done something wrong in the past, something as big as that and as public as that, and you're such a public figure, and if it's being brought up, even if it's targeting another creator, the point is your name's still involved in that. If you're actively trying to just pretend it didn't happen, that's not going to pan out well for you at the end. That's just not going to work out for you. As it's been shown with Shane Dawson, the past will eventually catch up to you, no matter how fast you run. So with that, they need to acknowledge it and hold themselves accountable and apologize for it. Otherwise, we will. And as we've seen with various creators in the past, the most recent one being Shane Dawson, the internet's ruthless. Anyway, that's all for this video. As you may have noticed, I've got a change of scenery going on here. This is most likely not permanent. I'm just trying to work out what I'm gonna do with this space. I've got like a tripod and shit. I've been trying to actually record this video a couple of times now, and I've just decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna use my phone. So apologies for the low camera quality, but you get what you're given, I suppose. I do have a cheap video camera coming, but I don't know how much better it will be in camera quality. We'll see, I guess. Anyway, like and subscribe. That would make me happy. You can follow me on Twitter at Xenocide. You know, honestly, like, a queer can dream, but if we could get a hashtag trending, the FineBros are over party, I would be happy. I would be very happy, because I really do think that they at least feel like they've gotten away with it, and they need to know that they haven't gotten away with it. And like, I have next to no platform. So like, honestly, I feel like this video won't do much, but hopefully, maybe, potentially, someone bigger stumbles upon this video and then make their own video about it, and then the ball rolls and then something happens. I hope. That's all I can really do. I want them to be held accountable. That's it, really. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up now. I'll see you in the next video. Probably not under my loft bed. I don't know, we'll see. But until then, bye.